Hi guys, so I'm going to do a little video on how to survive the first year with twins. And these are just kind of like my top 10 tips. I have identical twin boys who will be 2 in December. And when they were born, I had a 2.5-year-old son. So I'm totally outnumbered in my house. No, we're not trying for a girl. I'm okay. We'll get a girl dog. It'll be fine. Um, but yeah, so I had my twins in December. They were 2 months early. We spent almost 6 weeks in the NICU. They came home at the end of January, so right in the middle of cold and flu season. I bring these babies home, and I have my 2.5-year-old, and I'm a stay-at-home mom, and so I made it. I survived it. My husband and I both survived it. And so I just wanted to put out a video out there for other moms who are either about to have twins or have itty bitty twins or have twins who are grown and want to reminisce. I don't know why you'd want to, but these are kind of just my top 10 tips for how to survive it. Number one, ask for help. You cannot do this on your own. You need to be asking for help. But people love babies. And I know for a while, like, I wasn't opposed to asking for help, but because my babies were preemies and because it was the middle of cold and flu season, a lot of people who wanted to help couldn't because they were sick. And I was like, don't you dare come to this house if you're sick because I cannot afford anybody in this house to be sick. So, but there will be people, whether it's family, friends, people you work with. I mean, anybody. If anybody asks you for help, say yes. And I did not do this, but I think this is a really great idea. Like, have a list. Like, just have a running list in your house of, like, put the dishes in the dishwasher. They don't have to hold the baby. I mean, if you're fine with that, I was fine with somebody holding my baby. Let me go do the laundry. Let me go clean the bathrooms. Like, let me go do something that's not involving caregiving this tiny person because I would like to accomplish something else today. So that helped me a lot. You just have to know that you are going to need help, and that's okay. And that's why people are there. That's why you have family. That's why you have friends. And just understand that it's not forever. It's for a certain amount of time, and it's okay. So ask for help. Number two, give yourself mercy. If you don't hear me say anything else in this video, please hear me say, take it easy on yourself. There are days that the accomplishment of the day is that everyone is alive. And my husband would come home and like everybody would be screaming and like the poo would be hitting the fan. And it's like, you know what? We're all alive. Like, it's okay. And that was hard for me because I'm one of those people that like, I like accomplishing tasks. On that Myers-Briggs scale, I'm a J, very much a J. And so the fact that I could go all day and start something and be interrupted and start something and start something and start something and never complete a task all day, what was and is very hard for me. That's really tough. And that sounds like such a small thing, but it really messed with me for a while of just feeling like I wasn't getting anything done, feeling kind of like a failure because, you know, I've had to run that one cycle of laundry a lot because I can't get down there and put it in the dryer or whatever. And again, it sounds stupid, but for that helped my brain. That helped myself feel like, okay, even if it was I cleaned one bathroom today, I at least got something done. So, but you have to give yourself mercy. If today the kids are alive, you've accomplished something. You didn't kill anybody. You know, I told my husband, I was like, it's really good that we don't keep alcohol in the house because there would be too many days that you'd come home and that'd just be plastered because it's just crazy. Like, people are screaming all the time. Like, this is just life. But you just have to give yourself mercy. You have to say, okay, today was not great. Tomorrow we're going to try to do better. And if it's not better, then I'm going to try the next day. And one of the things that helps with me is I think, okay, they're little. They're probably not going to remember this. I will, but they probably are not going to remember a lot of this. So give yourself mercy. Number three, grocery delivery. So when I brought my twins home, again, middle cold and flu season, they were both on oxygen. I'm like, I can't get to the grocery store. And I didn't really want to go at night. Like, I'm a more of a morning person, so like I start out the day at my highest energy and then just kind of it slowly disintegrates throughout the day. And so like I didn't want to do that at 7 or 8 o'clock at night. Some other people might want to, and if you do, go for it. But Walmart does it. I know the click list thing is really popular. The nice thing about the Walmart delivery is that they bring it straight up to your house. You don't have to even get anybody in the car. But that was huge, and it is worth every cent you pay for it to be able to go online, pick out your groceries, and not have to worry about how am I going to get them in the store, how am I going to get them in a cart, when once I get them in the cart, where am I going to actually put the food that I need. And so all these different things, because when they're little, like, it's just too hard. It's too hard to take everybody. And like because they were preemies, I didn't want people touching them and to them to be exposed to all this like nasty stuff. So the grocery delivery was a lifesaver. It was so huge. It helped me so much. And I still do it sometimes when I don't feel like taking everybody to the store. Number 4, take time for yourself. And don't hear me say this as one more thing that you have to do. I'm saying if there's something that you enjoy or something that you find very recuperative, keep doing it. For me, it was taking a solitary walk just around the neighborhood, like power walking. Like I don't really jog because my knees hurt and that stuff. So I'm a walker, but like walking around the neighborhood in the evening by myself, just listening to music or a podcast or something, like that was extremely recuperative to me. If taking a bath is recuperative to you, if other kinds of exercise or just going and doing something kind of on your own, strolling through the halls of Target. I mean, I did that when the weather was really cold and I didn't feel like I could be outside. I just walk around Target, and it helped me a lot. Helped me have some time by myself, that people weren't, touching and screaming and all this other stuff. So that helped me a lot. You just need to take something for yourself. If you're a person who likes to get a pedicure, keep getting a pedicure. If you're a person who usually, goes to some exercise class, like keep doing that. Don't give that up, because it's so easy to lose your identity because you're so busy taking care of anybody else, and you do get put on the back burner and you do put yourself last. And when you do that, you're going to be unhappy, and as a result, like, your marriage is going to suffer and the kids are going to suffer. Like, you have to be able to say, I need this to help me feel good. I need this to still feel like I'm that person again before I had these kids. Like, I need this. And yeah, keep doing it. And it doesn't have to be anything that's expensive. I mean, me going for walks cost me $0. So I have to be more careful when I'm walking around Target to not spend too much money. But typically, if I've got a podcast or music or something, I can usually only get through Target. I can get through Target with only spending like $1 or $2. So that's really important. Number 5, you have to communicate with your spouse. If you are on your own, bless your heart, I'm praying for you. Solidarity, sister. Like, I can't imagine how people do this on their own, and I know they do. And oh my goodness, guys, like, I just feel for you, because I have an awesome husband. I have a husband who, it was all hands on deck from the moment they came home, really from the moment I was pregnant. Like, he helps so much, and he's a fantastic dad. But one of the things that you have to do is you have to communicate. And one of the things that we had with our twins was actually we did a lot of talking, like, during those feedings, especially that 9 o'clock feeding. We talked so much. We would talk for, it took so long to feed preemies. Like, oh my gosh, like, it would take a solid hour to feed them, because they would start, and then you'd have to burp them, and then they'd burp, and then they get the hiccups, and then we had to wait for the hiccups to go away before they would try to feed the rest of them. So it was just feeding my boys was just an ordeal every freaking time. It was just a huge ordeal. And so when my husband was there and we were both doing it together, like, we just talked, and we talked about stuff that, didn't have anything to do with the babies. Like, podcasts got me through too. Like, I should add that one. Like, I listen to some really, really great podcasts, and it was great to listen to stuff and feel like my brain was working. I listened to some history podcasts and some like movie podcasts, and like just kind of and some theology podcasts, because I'm weird and I have a wide span of interests, but things that don't necessarily have anything to do with babies. And and I was be like, hey, I was listening to this today, and what do you think about this? And so, we talked, and we talked about stuff that had nothing to do with kids, but then we did talk about stuff that had to do with the kids too. Number 6 would be tag team. You have to tag team it. You have to say, you do this and I'll do this. So after dinner, it would be something like, you get the bottles ready, I'll clean up the kitchen. You put this kid away, I'll get their pajamas if you get the diapers. It's just kind of like, you have to think of yourself and your spouse as a team. Like, it's you versus the kids. Like, you think about it. I tried to think about it this way, that like, I've known my husband a whole lot longer than I've known my boys, and I love my boys to death, and I love them in a way that is different than the way I love my spouse, but I still know him more. Like, I've known him longer. Our history is longer than my history with my sons. And so I just think, like, we are a team, we are in this together, and we're not going down, because failure is not an option. People tell me all the time, like, I just don't know how you do it. And it's like, well, I don't have a choice. Like, failure's not an option, I have to figure out a way to do it. And so yeah, I would highly recommend just tag teaming it, communicating to you do this, and I don't know, if you need to make a chart, whatever. But just to get get kind of that routine, and get the idea of like, I need you to do this and I will do this. And just, again, that communication, like, it's huge. You just have to be able to talk to your spouse and say, this is what I need. Like, this is the need that I have right now. And hopefully your spouse is in that same boat of like, yeah, I want to meet your needs and you're going to meet mine, and we're in this together. So that's just the mindset you have to have going in, and I feel like that's the mindset that you have to have continuing, because it's really, really easy. It's so easy to take out the stress that you have with the kids on your spouse, because they're an adult and you feel like they can take it, But I've tried really hard not to do that, of not trying to take it out. Like, having times where I'm really talking to them and saying like, I'm struggling. Like, these are the struggles that I'm having. And my husband's a great listener and really good at like understanding, like, I just need to talk about this, and I need you to know that I had a sucky day and this is why it's sucky. Um and sometimes for us as women, like, once we do that, we feel better. Like, there are times that we do need to vent. But then I know for me, like, I typically am not, like, I'm a person who wants to talk about it, but I do want a solution. I want you to tell me, like, what do you think I can do to make this better? Because I don't want to keep feeling this way. I don't want to feel, upset or anything else like that. Like, what are some ways that, like, this part of, our day, my day with the kids, like, this is really hard. What do you think I could do that would make this better? And so, yeah, that's extremely, extremely important, because otherwise you're going to go crazy. Number 7, caffeine. If you weren't, I'm not a coffee drinker. I don't drink coffee, but I love me some tea and I love me some Diet Coke. And you're not sleeping great, and you just don't know how that's going to affect you, especially if your twins are your first baby. Like, you just don't know how you're going to react. I actually reacted not bad from sleep deprivation. I was really not, I thought it was going to be a whole lot worse, but I functioned. And but I did on caffeine. And don't overdo it. Don't like Red Bull it up. But I mean, you're going to need probably some stimulants to get through. And now that my twins are almost 2, like, I don't drink near as much as I did when we were up multiple times at night, because they sleep through the night pretty well now. And so, I mean, I usually only have caffeinated stuff a couple times a week versus a couple times a day. So, but yeah, you're going to need caffeine. It's just life. Get you a Starbucks gift card, get you, whatever your drink of choice is, whether it's soda or tea or coffee, like, just stock up. Just go to Costco, Sam's, stock up. You're going to need it. Number 8, schedule. I know you're going to hear this. You're going to hear this so much when you're pregnant with twins. Like, people are going to harp on the schedule, but it's the truth. Because you have to figure out how to feed 2 babies at a time. Whether you're nursing, whether you're bottle feeding, no matter what. Like, you have to feed 2 babies at a time. Otherwise, that's all you're going to do all day. And so for me, I pumped for a while, but when the babies came home, I was like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I'm pumping all the time, and I my production was okay. We were probably going to have to start supplementing with formula anyway, and we were probably going to have to add calories to my milk. The breast milk I make is like skim, and my babies needed like half and half. So we just went to formula, and I don't feel guilty about it. So they're fine. They're not stupid. They'll be fine. It goes along with the give yourself mercy. I nursed my first for the first whole year, and was really proud of that, and tried it out with the twins. Was like, yep, this is not working, so we're not going to do it. So, but for me, feeding the Twinsy pillow was fantastic. And then Amazon sells some bottle holders, which were also great, that really helped feed two babies at a time. So, but yeah, you have to have that schedule. And I mean, my twins are almost 2 now. I still know the schedule in my head. I still know this feeding schedule. I still know exactly what to do, but it's just to help you. It is to help them, but it's really to help you. You know what's coming. You know what you need to do. You know when you have times of opportunity, and you can maintain it. And because my twins were in the NICU, they were already on a schedule when they came home. That's like the one good thing about having your babies in the NICU, is that when they come home, they're already on a 3.5 hour schedule. And so we just had to maintain that and figure out like, okay, what are we going to do when, all that stuff. But yeah, the schedule's huge. I'm a person who is, like I said, I'm a planner, so I need routine. But even if you're not a person who's ever really needed routine, your kids really do. And because I had an older one as well, and I had that schedule so much with my twins, is because I knew when I had windows of opportunity to spend time with him, because that's hard. Like, he didn't come home, we didn't bring a baby brother home. We brought 2, and who had extremely specialized needs because of the fact that they were premature and all this other stuff. And like, it was a huge change for him as well. And so I wanted to be able to have time with him. And because we maintained the schedule, I knew that was there. I knew, okay, I'll have some time here in the morning, and then I'll have some more time here in the afternoon, and we can play a game, or we can do something together. So the schedule's huge. Number 9, be a girl. I say this especially because I have all boys, like, because I live in a land of testosterone, that like I'm a girly girl. Like, no apologies, like, I'm prissy, and that's not going away. Like, yes, I can get on the floor and roll around and roughhouse with them, but I still want to be a girl. And for me, that means that I still want makeup on, and I still am going to do my hair. And I've never been a big, like, I still wear regular clothes. Now with Spanx because of what the kids did to my body. But other than that, so for me, if you are a person who does that now, before you have twins, if you're a person who gets up every morning, fixes your hair, puts your makeup on, and wears, things other than maybe sweatpants or whatever, if you do that now, you need to keep doing it, because you're gonna it's gonna help you feel like yourself. Like, if I didn't wear makeup ever, and if I never did my hair, which granted it gets put up in buns a whole lot more now than it ever did, but still, like, if you're a person that's kind of part of your normal routine, you should maintain that, because it's going to help you feel like you. And if you're not a person who's ever done that, you're a person that's like, I'm not really a makeup girl, I'm not really a hair girl, then don't worry about it. But if that is part of kind of what you've always done, don't stop. Again, if you are a person who does other things, like, I'm a person who sings, like, I sing usually like in the church worship band or with some other like ensembles, and I didn't give that up. Now, I had to step back. I couldn't do as much as I was doing before, but I didn't want to give that up because that was something that I really loved doing. And just because I have kids doesn't mean that like I have to stop everything I love. So I would just say continue to do some of the things that you did before you have kids. And it doesn't have to be big, just some small things, things like if you're a hair or makeup person, or if you're a person who really loves clothes or whatever, like, keep doing that. Don't feel like you have to give up your life just because you have kids, and just because, especially, you're staying at home, because it's hard. It's hard to be a stay-at-home mom, especially, if you're like me and you're an extrovert and you love being around people. Being a stay-at-home mom is tough because you feel really isolated. It can feel really, really isolating. And that leads me to number 10. which is you have to find other moms. Even if they're not twin moms, like I highly recommend, like if you don't have another twin mom, um, I know that they have those groups, and somebody's crying. Come here. Come here. You need a hug? You need a hug. But I know they have the Moms of Multiples groups. For me, I did not join them because my best friend from high school had twins, and then another girl that I'm friends with now has twins. You need somebody needs something. I'll be right back. We're back. Somebody needed milk. So yeah, I would just say you need to have other people that understand what you're going through. Like my mom is fantastic, but she doesn't understand what it's like to have all boys and to have twins. Like she just doesn't get it. As helpful as she is, she doesn't understand. But I have a friend here that she has 3 boys, like in the exact same situation. We knew each other from church, and so we're like we text all the time of like, oh my goodness, this is what happened. How am I going to deal with this? And vice versa. But it helps so much to have other people that have been through what you've gone through or are going through what you're going through, just to have somebody to talk to. It's really important. Just the isolation part is just tough. And that's one that you have to be pretty active about, because otherwise, if you're a person who stays at home with your kids, like it's just really hard to be like, oh, I haven't left the house in like 3 days. I'm gonna lose my mind. Like it just happens, and so you have to kind of know yourself well enough to know like I need to get out of here. With kids, without kids, whatever. But to just have other people, and if you're in a metro area, the Moms of Multiples groups are all over the place. And even if you're not, you can find some of the other groups on Facebook, or hey, watch this video, and just know that like if you're going through it, we all have too, and there's somebody out there who's been through it and has come out the other side and is still alive. So hang in there. Having twins is no joke. I describe to people it's just very, very intense. It's intensely good and it's intensely bad, and it's just a lot. It's intense, and they're great, and I'm so glad they're here, and I love them to death. But man, it's tough, and it's okay. It's okay to say it's hard. It's okay to say this is really, really tough. So this went longer than I meant for it to, but I guess I had a lot to say. So hang in there, twin mommies.